What's up there guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Aviassembly. So I'm really excited to bring this one to the channel. This is a game that I picked up myself off of Steam. It's quite reasonably priced and it does have overwhelmingly positive reviews. So yeah, can't wait to jump in with this one. Please do grab yourself a drink. Let's hit the skies. Right then guys, so first things first, like I said in the opening section there, this game has got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It's got over 3,000 reviews so far. It's been out since April 2025. And yeah, when I saw the basic sort of premise of this game, it is something that really appealed to me. You build your own planes, you fly them, you complete missions in order to upgrade your plane, and then further things unfold as we go on. So yeah, let's jump straight in. So I'm going to hit the options first. So just to let you know, we're playing at 1440p, we're in full screen, VSync is off, and I've set the draw distance to max with all of the other effects graphically on. Next up, we've got the controls. So just click in here. We do have the option to use a mouse or a controller or both. So today I will be playing with a combination of mouse, keyboard, and also the controller. I've also going to just cycle down here just to show you that the controls aren't really long. It's not a really long list that's going to overwhelm you. It's quite simple and straightforward. And then in the sound options, I've just turned off the music, and that's obviously as usual for my channel, just to avoid any copyright strikes. So I'm going to hit close. I'm now going to go play a new game. So you see how quickly this game loads. There's no editing there. I've literally just jumped straight in. And what I will say is this game is not a game that holds your hand. It doesn't have a tutorial. It doesn't tell you what to do or hold your hand and take you through step by step in order to build your plane. It's just going to throw you in on this blueprint screen in order to enable you to get started. So it doesn't insult your intelligence is what I'm trying to say. It allows you to use your brain, to use your own creativity to work out what's going on. So let's have a look then. So up in the top left hand corner, this is our parts. So these are all the parts of our plane. So we'll go into that in more detail. Here we've got coins. So this is how much money we've got in-game currency in order to build our plane. Now you can earn more coins as you go on, and that becomes something which you then use to upgrade your plane in various ways. We've then got our plane statistics here, so in terms of the weight, the fuel capacity, and also cargo capacity, which is currently, as you can see, we've got 0 weight, 0 cargo capacity at the moment. You can then colorize your plane. You can save and load your game as well there. And then we've got some options down here. So we've got an undo option here. We've also got a mirror option here where we can mirror certain aspects of the plane. So say when you're putting your wings on, you might want to use the mirror. We've got CG, which is the center of gravity. So these things in the bottom right here are more sort of indicative things that come up on screen. And we've got drag, so that highlights areas of drag or resistance to airflow on your plane. You've also got a magnet here as well, so that allows for snapping to be on or off. Now, I just wanted to click that one last because that one is going to be always on as far as I'm concerned, and it comes on as default. Nothing to concern yourself with really, I would just leave it on. Right, so various aeroplane parts. So initially here, we've got a few that are locked. Now they can be unlocked in time by researching. You need scrap to do that. So we've got 2 in-game currencies. We've got coins and we've got scrap. So coins are used to build your plane, scrap are used to do your research in very basic terms. Right guys, so let's jump in and start building our plane. So the first thing that we're going to want is a cockpit. So I'm going to hover over the basic cockpit that you're given to start off with. You'll see it brings up some basic statistics on screen now. The weight is 1.5, the cargo is 10, and the coins that it takes to build this cockpit is 100. So out of 650 coins, we're going to spend 100 on the cockpit. That will give us a cargo capacity of 10, and the weight is going to start increasing, obviously, incrementally as we start adding components. You start off with a 1.5. So I just thought I'd cover those there for you. So firstly, let's hit cockpit. So that's dropped that in for us. So as you can see, we've got a basic cockpit available to us. And if we click on this, we don't have many things in terms of customization available apart from to move it. in various ways, various directions, and also to bin it. So we could bin it there and get our 100 coins back and also lose our cargo capacity. Alright, so let's click that again. So this is our starting point. I would say start by building your cockpit and build around it. If we click CG, you'll see that the center of gravity is bang in the middle of the cockpit, and that is obviously a great place to start. So if you click drag, you'll see now it's highlighted areas of drag in orange, being the front of the plane here, which isn't really a plane at the moment, just a cockpit, and also this windshield here. So we'll turn that off and go back to basically building our plane. So we need to bear in mind we want a decent capacity for carrying goods around, for transporting components and stuff like that to get paid, but we also want to keep the cost within this limit because we can't go over it. It won't allow us to. So what I'm going to do is grab a fuselage and I'm going to stick one on the front, and as you can see, by dropping that, it's cost us 50 coins and it's also increased our capacity by 10. Now I would say, just from looking at this is probably a little long. So what I would do there is to go and grab this icon and then move this back a little bit. And as you can see, as I'm moving it back, I'm recouping some coins, but at the same time, reducing my capacity. So what I'm going to do is pull this back a little bit there, just so I've got a little bit of extra plane at the front, but not a great deal. And as you can see there, from where we started with 10 capacity, we've now increased by 5 to 15. And we have spent 25 coins, so not too bad to start off with. The next thing I'm going to do is pop a propeller on the front. I think this is a good step. And the propeller is found in this menu, so the third one. I know that I'm not working through these in order, but don't worry. It'll make sense when we actually start building the plane. Well, we are building the plane. What I mean is once it's complete, you will see the order by which I've done it. So we've dropped a propeller on there. It's cost us 150 coins. And as you can see, it's starting to take shape quite nicely. Now, if I was to check the center of gravity, you'll see that that's moved quite a bit forward. So what we want to do is to build some of the rear of the plane now in order to bring that center of gravity back. We want that center of gravity where it originated there in the cockpit or thereabouts. So let's click that again. Just as well on the drag, you'll see there, we do have drag here, but thankfully, we don't have that block of drag that we had. And obviously, we've got an engine at the front now, so it's worth it. So what we'll do now is go back to our first menu and grab some more fuselage. And I'm going to drop this behind the cockpit now. Okay. The other point to mention when you're building parts of the fuselage is that you can cone it as well. So we have looked at already the sort of decrease in the length, but you can also increase the length quite a lot. Now, if we were increasing that much, which we were not going to do, but say we were increasing that much, it's going to cost us 180 coins, which it has, and has also increased our capacity by 36 to 61. And as you can see there, you've got the freedom to do what you want with your plane, but we don't have the freedom in terms of coins. Now, if you went into sandbox mode, you could have a real good time, but we are playing through the main game right now. So what I'm going to do is drag that back again. And I want to look at this cone aspect of the fuselage. So you'll see that when I've pulled that back, I'm now on 26 capacity. Let's see if we can push this up and see if we can manage 30 as a starting point. And one thing that you can do if you want to is to actually press on this icon and move the mouse up and down, which allows you to cone the actual shape. If you want to work on your aerodynamics, you can do that. The reason I didn't do that at the front is because the starting motor, the starting engine, is actually quite wide itself. So if you were to narrow the fuselage, it would then be going into a wider part of the motor. So it's not worth doing for now anyway, until we start upgrading the plane. So I've narrowed the plane towards the back here. And let's just have a look at our centre of gravity now. So it's started to come back a bit. It's not exactly where I would want it. So what I'm going to do is just pull this back a little bit further and see if we can increase our capacity a little bit. Yeah. So that's not too bad now, actually, although I might want to just go back a bit more. In fact, I'm going to open up that cone a little bit. And you can see we now hit 30 in terms of our desired capacity. And the centre of gravity is now pretty much where we want it. So yeah, good start. We'll see how we get on coins-wise. I'm going to grab some wings next. So when it comes to wings, you've got starting ones of wood wings and tail wings. Now, we're going to start with the wood wings. So if you were to click on this and drag this across to your plane, you can see, if you were to hover it by the side there, that it's only doing one side. And that's not ideal. So what we want to do there is to go mirror. And we can then drag our wings into place. Now I'm just going to move it round, move the angle round a bit like this viewing angle, so that we can see a bit better. And then we can then place our wings exactly where we want them and have them mirrored on both sides, which is quite useful really, and that's exactly what we want. So there we go. That's cost us 75 coins per wing. So I'm quite happy with the design so far. And centre of gravity wise, we're still exactly over the cockpit. I'm now going to put some rear tail wings on. So these are the smaller wings that go at the back. So because they're mirrored again, anything that I do on one side is going to be exactly the same on the other. And if I move this up, you can see you could have like fighter wings if you want. I'm going to keep mine basic to start off with and drop them there, right at the back. 15 per side, so not too bad. So we're doing pretty well in terms of our coins. I might build this back a bit further if we've got enough coins left to do so. Next up, wheels. So I'm going to go to the fourth menu here, and there's only two available. So there's a bike wheel set up and a small rear wheel. So what I'm going to do is grab the bike wheels to start off with, drag those across here. And as you can see, if I go on the side like that, I can even place them into some weird, funky positions. So I'm going to centralize these, move them back a bit, and maybe get them about there. Yeah, bang on. So yeah, I'm happy with where they are, and I'm going to get my rear wheel. I'm going to switch mirror off. I'll show you why, because if I have mirror on again, this is a bit wide at the back. We could do with narrowing that. If I switch mirror on for this one, and I drag this, you see you end up with two wheels, which is going to cost you twice as much. So I'm going to switch mirror off. I'm going to try and centralize this rear wheel. I'm going to do that by looking directly underneath like this and getting this rear wheel, probably placing it about, whoops, accidentally right click there, placing it about there. So there we go, that cost us 25. So we've still got 68 left in terms of coinage. In terms of these other menus, this is like electrical components, which we don't have any available right now. We need to collect scrap to research, as it's telling us there. And then you've got some other bits and bobs here, like miscellaneous items, struts, which we don't need at the moment, wood connection. So I think this would be used if you had like multiple wings, for example. And then we've got like this is like a fuel tank that you can build in to give you additional capacity for fuel, etc. All right, so I'm going to look to increase the rear of the plane here, and I'm going to do so by pulling that back a bit. As you can see there, we've upped our capacity. See where our centre of gravity is? So it's still pretty much where we want it. You can't increase the front because we've got that on. We're now up to 34, and I'm going to narrow this a bit like that, because I think that's a nicer design. But as you see, we've lost quite a lot of capacity there. So let's just, yeah, you can't really win with that one. It's either one or the other. So if we pull that back a bit more now, we're up to 30, but our centre of gravity is moved back a little bit. And our wheel there looks like it's off. Right, okay, let's replace that wheel because it looks like it's suffered a bit there. Now, our wings are also hanging off. Let's replace those. See how we get on with this. This is a slightly different design to what I would usually do here. So we'll try it anyway. So we'll put that there. It looks a bit weird, actually, that. Right, let's try it anyway. We can always try, can't we? I need to mirror those rear tail wings again. And there we go. So we're well within our coinage. Our plane's looking quite nice, actually. Centre of gravity's a little back, but it's alright. Drag-wise, you see we've got a few points of drag, but not too bad. We've got a decent amount of weight, but what I'm going to do now is hit the skies. So I'll just show you how quickly this loads. Bear in mind, I'm not putting an edit in here. This is literally how quick the game loads in. And as you can see there, guys, it loads in very quickly indeed. So here we are at our home airport, which is called Baker Fields. So here we can do things like edit our plane, which takes us back to the blueprint screen. We can do research using scrap and other components, which we'll come to in due course, to allow us to open up new elements of our plane, new parts that we can use to do better jobs. Or we can refuel, which is something that we'll be doing often, especially in the first stages of the game. Working our way around this screen, we'll move down here to the throttle, which you can see here, it says next to it, space and control. So if you're using the keyboard, you use the space bar in order to increase the amount of throttle and the control to reduce it. In this instance, we're going to be using the Xbox controller, series controller that I've got to hand here. And yeah, the spacebar basically increases the throttle, and also on the Xbox controller, it's the A button to do that. And to decrease the throttle, it's the X button. We've also got electricity here, which has a bar, and we've also got fuel as well, which decreases very rapidly as you start to fly, especially in the early stages when you don't have a fuel tank. We've also got the speed meter here and the altitude reading here. We've also got our coins over here, and we've also got a map here, which can also be accessed by pressing M. Your quests come up here as well, and as you can see so far, we've only got Baker Fields available in terms of the airports that we can view here. I'll just press M to get rid of that. What else do we have? So we've got the capacity in terms of the amount of capacity it shows on this screen, but also our inventory. So this is basically where we can see what we're carrying, how much of our capacity we're using, and how much weight we're carrying as well. So currently we've got 7.8 in terms of our weight, and capacity wise we're using 0 of 30 capacity slots. Alright, let's exit out of there. We can press this button as well if we want to go back in terms of resetting our plane. So we could reset to this base, which is here. No matter where you are on the map, you can reset to base and also to edit plane. So once we get up, start getting scrap that we can use in order to upgrade our plane, or money that we can use to upgrade our plane by buying the parts, then we can actually come back here and do that. So yeah, it's the scrap for research and the money for the payment of the parts. Here we have also the opportunity to reset to the airport that you're at, or the last airport that you were at. So hopefully we won't be using that, because hopefully we're not going to crash or run out of fuel. But for now, let's get into the sky. So I'm going to use the Xbox controller, and I'm going to hold down the A button. And there we go, our throttle's up now. I'm going to use the left stick and pull back on that, and hopefully take off. And there we go. We've got a successful liftoff. I'm going to ease off on the throttle, because as you can see, we're already down to 3/4 of the fuel that we had when we started off. And we're aiming for the first airport over here. And as you can see, I don't know whether you can make out the runway there, but we want to be kind of over here. So I'm just throttling down. Actually, the throttle's completely off there now. You don't need a great deal of throttle on to stay in the sky, but we'll have a little tiny bit there. We'll just implement it gently as we start to come down to land. And that's it. So there is a bit of give. I'm going to do a reverse thrust by pressing the X button as well on the joypad there. Okay, so our first mission here. We've suddenly lost power. This is the hospital. I'm going to click. Can you deliver 2 small batteries to keep the hospital running? Click. And now it says quest added. So we can click here to select a new quest. And basically, This is the quest that we have been given. So it says again, we're at the hospital, delivering 2 batteries, basically. The hospital has no power, deliver 2 small batteries, and that's going to pay us 25 coins and 10 scrap. So I can click here. And what happens then, it says in the bottom right, it says delivering batteries, collect small batteries at the wind turbines. And it directs us here to the wind turbines. That's our next stop. So I'm going to click off there. We've got about half a tank of fuel left, or half of whatever it is carrying the fuel, because we don't actually have a tank installed at the moment. So we're going to take off now. So again, I'm going to hold down the throttle. I'm going to pull back and lift off. I'm going to ease off the throttle straight away, basically, and get us up into the sky still, because you don't need full throttle to get up, just a little bit there. And we're going to fly to the wind turbine. So I'm just trying to look to preserve fuel here, and I'm misaligned from the runway there as well. So just ease back on the throttle, as we are going a little fast. And I'm all over the place as well. You can also use the triggers, by the way, at yaw, as it's telling us on screen here. And thankfully we're down there without any drama. Just going to reverse the thrust a little bit as we've come down to land. So again, it's saying a bird flew into the wind turbine. So this is another mission that it's given us. Can you deliver 2 medicine? Well, thankfully we're going back to the hospital, so I'm sure we can. But for now, we're going to load cargo. And you'll see here that at the wind turbines, there is small batteries available and also big batteries. Now, we've got actually enough space in our inventory to take the 2 small batteries. So we'll click that. So we've got 2 small batteries, and you see that came up with a green tick there, because we've basically got the required cargo in order to fulfill that first mission. So we're using 20 out of 30 spaces in our inventory. So I'll just click off this now, and I'm going to hit refuel. And there we go. Fully refueled. Didn't cost us any coins to do that, thankfully. So now I'm going to head back to the hospital and get this first mission complete. So let's get the throttle on. We'll lift off. Oh, thankfully we've got a nice running plane here. It takes off very nicely. We're going to turn back as gently as possible. I might turn down the sensitivity on the stick, actually, because it is a little strong. I'm being very gentle with it, but I'm finding that even then it's still jerking around quite a bit. Now you can see over to the right there, as we're just flying along, that there's some scrap highlighted there, so we could pick that up as well by flying over it. See if we can do that, actually. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to kill the throttle and just let it drift down. There we go. Get a bit of reverse on there just to do a stop. Thank you for the delivery. Here are 25 coins and 10 scrap for the effort. Thank you for that. You can use this to research new parts and upgrade your plane. Fantastic. So there we go. That goes in there. We could use even more batteries to keep the hospital going. Okay. Can you deliver 4 small batteries and 2 big batteries? Well, we know that the small batteries are 10 spaces in our inventory, so we can bring 3, but we don't have enough to bring any big batteries because they were 55 each, 55 slots. So there we go, we've got a quest added. Oh, there's something happening here. Ground's rumbling. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? Could be. What was that? That seemed like an earthquake. Can you check around the island if people need help? You should also visit the weather station to find out what is going on. Right. So it's now pointing us back to the base, but for now, what I'm going to do is just to get a little bit of extra cash. I'm going to get the 2 medicine that are required at the windmill, and we can also head back there. We've probably got enough fuel to get back. Let's see if we do. So we'll take off. You see there's some damage been done to the island there, over to the left here. Right, let's just see if we've got enough fuel. We might be a bit tight on fuel here to get back. We're already into the red. Yeah, we might have made a mistake taking off here. Yeah, considering we're already low on fuel. I'll tell you what, guys. I don't think we're going to make it over there. Let's land again. A nice little circle round. And we'll kill the throttle off a bit. No harm done. And there we go. Nicely in. We'll reverse to stop. And we will refuel this time. So almost a rookie error there. So we'll take off again. Let's go and deliver this medicine. We'll swing round to the right this time and see if we can fly over where there was an icon on the ground. So I think that was scrap basically. Let's see if we can spot it again. So I think it was just over here. Yeah, it hasn't brought it up this time. Oh, there we go. So we got a bit of scrap there by flying over where that was highlighted previously. Just careful to manage my throttle here. Try not to use too much. And as you can see, there's more damage done to one of the wind turbines there. Right, let's ease back and bring it down. So we've delivered the medicine that was required there. Thank you for the medicine. Here are 45 coins for the effort. Fantastic. No scrap though. The earthquake destroyed 2 of the wind turbines. I also got injured during the earthquake. Can you get 3 medicine and 2 tools? Now, I'm not too sure where to get the tools from at this point, but if we bring up the map, it might tell us. So if I click here, so we can collect the medicine from the hospital, right? Well, that's going to be one step. Now, if we move this map up a bit, there's the weather station that he wanted us to go to as well. Right. I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll take the 3 batteries. We don't have enough to deliver the 4. We don't have enough space to deliver the 4. We're doing this in a bit of a funny order, to be fair, because it is still directing us to upgrade our plane. How much fuel do we have? Less than half, because we flew over that extra section. So we'll refuel. It's probably best just to refuel at every single point you touch down because it's free. We're going to go back to the hospital now again. And we can bring back some medicine as well while we're on. But yeah, we are certainly going to go back and look to upgrade our plane. I'm also trying not to make this introductory episode too long, but yeah. So we've lost the signal for some reason there. Let's bring it down. Like that. And there we go. So, actually, they give us some coins. For what we did do of the delivery. So you don't have to do the complete delivery in order to get paid. So that's really good. And we did note that at the turbines there, they needed some medicine. But for now, guys, what we'll do is we'll go back to the base. So let's head back to Bakerfield. So here we are. So we can now look at research. So we picked up a bit of scrap there. We got 10 as a payment for one of our missions, and we also collected 5. So there's a few different ways you can go about collecting the scrap required in order to do research. Now this is the research screen, so we didn't look at this yet, but now that we've got a bit of scrap behind us, we can look to maybe improve some of these components. Now, the thing that I would say is try to temper your expectations here, because although you can unlock a component, bear in mind that the component also costs more to fit to your plane. So you do need a bit of capital behind you before you start getting this kind of too much excitement involved. If that makes sense, just take it easy, I'm saying. So just bear in mind that although you're unlocking something, it doesn't mean you're going to necessarily be able to fit it straight away. So what I would say is if you take a look at the comparison between the component that you fitted and the new part. So for in this instance, we've got a wood engine here, which we've currently got fitted. We've got a thrust of 10, fuel consumption 2, electricity generation 0.4. If we move across, you can see that for this one, for this upgraded engine that we could unlock, it's extra weight. It's got a thrust of 15, so an increase of 5. extra fuel consumption, and the same electricity generation. What else do we have? So we've got a wood wing improving with a standard wing with dramatic improvement to the lift. So the previous wood wing's 21, new lift is 33, same drag and increased strength from 2.25 to 6, so that's pretty good. Tail wing 2, 6 and 6 increasing to 6, 6 and 3. So actually the strength of the upgraded tail wing is less. We've also got a small fuel tank, which we would have to factor into our plane somehow. Probably have to remove the rear fuselage and build that back again. But yeah, you can have a small fuel tank, which we'll figure out how to factor that in. But yeah, basically improves the fuel, obviously, because you've then got a tank. There's other ones obviously after that as well, big and a normal fuel tank. Cockpit improvement as well. You can have a nosed cockpit instead of a... Well, that one's not exactly nosed, actually. It's just got a slightly better design. I don't think it's got a nose anyway. I can't quite see from here. But yeah, various cockpits available, obviously all the way up to the sort of Concorde-esque style one. We've also got bike wheel improvement to a steel wheel, which has got a bit more weight, but it's also got a higher load limit. Rear wheel improves the load limit, actually doubles it. We've got small batteries. Now, I'm not entirely too sure about the battery side of things, but what I would say is this looks like a electronic component or capacitor that we're going to have to pick up at some point in order to unlock that. And as you can see at the moment, our capacitor's a 0 there. Right, what else do we have? So there's a small balloon here, which, I don't know, we'll dabble with that in the future, I guess. And also an air brake, which, yeah, I'm sure we'll get to in due course. So I'm not entirely too sure what we're going to unlock here. I mean, the wings are certainly, seems like a very valid improvement there. And that rear one especially. Although, like I said, it is going to cost more. So maybe we should get the rear, the tail wing, or the front wing. Tell you what, let's get the front one. The standard wing, should I say. And we'll also unlock the small fuel tank. So they're unlocked now. So that's our research done in terms of we've used our scrap. So what we could now do is click off that screen. We could now go to our edit plane screen, so which is back to our blueprint screen, and we could look and see how to factor in these bits. It's telling us to increase our fuselage size, basically make the fuselage bigger to fit more cargo. So it's a nice tip if you didn't already know that. But I'm interested to see how much these new wings cost, because we know that the old ones are 75 each. The new ones are 150 each. So like I said, guys, you've really got to kind of temper your expectations when it comes to, are you going to be able to fit these new things? Well, if we take off these old wings, we will be able to fit the new ones because we've got 164 here, but we get a refund. So what I'll say is if we delete those, we've now got 314. So we can get our new wings and put them on. I need to mirror that. Wow, they look very impressive. So there's our new wings on, and that looks very nice, actually. The other thing that you can do, by the way, is colour your plane, which we'll come to in just a moment. I just want to take a look and see if we can increase the fuselage size. I also want to take a look and see how much that that fuel tank would cost. There it is. So that's 100. So we're going to need some more coins if we want to install that fuel tank. We've only got 14 left in terms of what we've got at the moment. So I wonder if we can improve the fuselage size right now. So let's see about maybe deleting these tail wings and this, and see if we can improve this rear part of our plane by dragging that back. We need to bear in mind that because we've deleted those wings and the wheel, that it's given us a refund. So let's just push that back a sec. So 66, so we need to spend only 14. So we need to be down to 52 at the absolute most here. So if we open this up a bit, that's increased by 5, which isn't great, but it's also cost a lot more. How about if we extend this way? Yeah, that's a bit too much. So if we go there, we've increased it a little bit, but not a great deal. So let's put the wings back on. We're going to have to do some more work, some more jobs, before we can really look at doing any more. Wow, those tail wings look good. I'm sure that they are just the old ones, but for some reason they look better. I don't know why, it's just my eyes maybe. Look fantastic. Right, let's put our tail wing back on. We won't mirror it. Pop that on there. And there we go. We're down to 1 coin. So yeah, we were within the right required limit there. Okay, so what I should also say, guys, is you want to save your planes because it's very easy to lose them. So we'll save it before we paint it. So what I'm going to do is click... we don't want to load it, sorry. Because that one looks like you are down, saving down onto the drive, but it's actually the disk. So there we go. So I'm going to save this as ellipse 2 because it's our second plane. So I'm going to click save plane there. So that's now available if I want to reload in. So that's our plane design saved, but not our game saved. It's 2 separate things. In order to save the game, we want to press escape and then save as. And then we can enter our text, which I'll save as ellipse 2. We'll keep everything the same. All right, lastly, you can paint your plane. So I'm going to click here. And there's all sorts of nice colour designs, obviously, you can do. So anything that you want to do, you can go ahead and do it. So baby blue is a nice colour, I think. Sort of this type of thing. If you want to, if you want to go wild with your colours, put various colours in here, you can do. I don't know whether I like that, but it's certainly a design. And yeah, obviously you can't paint the wooden parts. That's the only thing. So yeah, that you're kind of stuck with those until you upgrade them. But what I will probably do is undo the yellow there, at least, because the baby blue looks quite nice. But yeah, it's the yellow is maybe a little too striking as well. The baby blue and white is a nice design to me. But yeah, that's it, guys, for this one. I really hope you enjoyed that introductory episode here. If you did, please do hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of up and coming videos. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comment section because I do want to do more on this game. I want to cover a little bit more in terms of what we can do, what we can play. And yeah, I'm just really quite pleased with it overall, especially for the price. I think that's certainly a positive drawing factor is the price of this game. But yeah, guys, a lot of fun to be had as well, I think. So please do let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed it. But otherwise, guys, please do take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you guys again soon.